why the sales team, they find it hard to follow up?
Okay, well, one thing that's really common in salespeople from a psychological perspective is most salespeople actually crave approval. And when you think about that from a psychological perspective, that means that we don't like rejection. We seek approval. We want to be validated. And so, recognizing
that, right?
Yeah. And so and we want to be liked, or we want to be, there's certain personality traits that are common for salespeople. Now, it's not for everybody. A lot of people want approval, they want that. And so when we look at that and we take that and we recognize it, and it's like, oh, that's a thing. And then it's like, okay, so a client didn't respond to me. I've sent out multiple methods of outreach, the plan, follow up, and the cadence, and I'm being ghosted. All right. Now, then you take a step back and you think about the client. Why? How many things are coming at them every day? Thousands. Okay. What do they have on their plate? A whole lot. This isn't about you. All right. It's not about what you've been delivering or providing in the outreach and the follow-up, right? It's about what's going on in their world. But when you lead with value and you're actually moving them forward every step of the way in the conversation, you're going to get a response. My gosh, Omobola has been following up with me consistently. She's been delivering value, and this email just came through. I need to hit reply, and I need to book a time so we can take the next step in the conversation. So that's one of the most important things when you're for a salesperson, is that follow up, and the stats around it are just so shocking. It's like 42% of salespeople never follow up at all. And 92% who did follow up the first time failed to follow up a second time. So follow-up is absolutely key. The fortune is in the follow-up, and that's part of the strategic sales plan of planning that, planning the value, planning the cadence, planning the methods of delivery. Because once again, it's not a drip funnel. You're going to mix it up. You're going to email them. I have this little triangle I'll do where we have, I leave a voicemail, which is basically I'm reading part of the email that's already ready to be sent. I click and send the email just in case, if I get them on the phone, then I talk to them about it, right? But then I can still follow up with the email so that they can book the next meeting. And then if I don't hear back in 3 days, then I'm messaging them on LinkedIn. But that's one little triangle for one follow-up. And then I do other types of follow-up where I'll send an actual snail mail package with a handwritten note. And that's a planned portion of the cadence. And then you also want to look at different areas where you can provide value, like an introduction to a podcast host, that they could go on that show to build their authority, to reach a new audience, and really add value to their SEO. So there's so many different ways that you can follow up when you plan for it. And it's just like, okay, I got it. This is the next step.
That's right. Absolutely. Good to know, Lynn. So what's the difference between B2B growth marketing, right, versus B2B marketing?
So, sales and marketing are, I don't know, kissing cousins. And, from a sales perspective, my personal thing is that sales is more important than marketing. And I'm sure if I was talking to a marketing person, they'd be doing the actual opposite. But at the end of the day, it's the sales when you're in a B2B space, whether you're a manufacturing company or your service company or a solo entrepreneur coach, all of those you're selling to normally another business or another, in some cases it's an individual, but I consider it B2B. And that relationship and building that relationship is so important. So that the entire sales conversation all the way through is crucial. But marketing really plays an important role in helping you identify, where does your ideal client and avatar, where do they hang out in bunches? How can you get into that pod, let's call it, or that bunch of grapes, so that you start to have visibility there and build authority in that area. And the other thing that they can do is they really can help, target things and do the market research and to see how different types of lead magnets are performing, what's doing well, and how is that working as you transition people into a sales conversation. How are they validating and qualifying the lead? So those things are really crucial, and also helping you create the materials once you've figured out what are, I recommend that people work on 3 different categories: answering your clients' pain points, answering their objections, and answering their questions. And you sort of figure out what are their top 10 pain points, what are the top 10 objections, what are the top 10 questions, and then building materials around those. And of course, you can't do 30 at once, right? But you can do the top priority 1, 2, 3, and then another 1, 2, 3, and then you build that into your outreach and your follow-up, and also into lead magnets and things that can further the conversation in the sales process. So, you know, they're I'm going to go back to their kissing cousins. They really do work together, and they need to be on the same wavelength so that it's effective.
Right. Thank you once again, Lynn Whitbeck, for your thoughts and submission on today's topic of discussion, especially talking about sales, right? B2B, and business, and B2B, sales and marketing. Now, can you share with me some innovative ideas for company growth?
Well, I'm not sure if I have any necessary innovative ideas, because is it innovative to really plan and optimize your system so that you can get the most out of it? And maybe that is innovative, because so many times as entrepreneurs and business owners, we're sort of just, putting out fires, and, something worked, so we keep doing it, and we're not really looking at what's changing and how we need to get in front of things. And I mean, that certainly was the case in the last several years. Things have been turned upside down, and salespeople who were used to having one-on-one meetings suddenly had to transition to how are they going to continue these conversations and build rapport. Well, you can do it virtually. You can. And there's different ways that you need to be able to connect and further those relationships. So I think an innovative idea that it's really more of a tactic is that I would really strongly recommend that business owners and entrepreneurs look at guest podcasting as a way of getting being in the pod where their audience, their ideal client avatar, is going to hang out. So on shows that would have a connection with that audience, and then thinking about how the topics that they would discuss and how they bring value, and they can have these golden nuggets that people can take away from the episode, because you're doing a lot of things all at once. First of all, you're creating an asset that you can now use for follow-up and outreach in the sales process, and in general on your social media platforms and on your website. You're building SEO because you're going to get a backlink to the host site, right? And also the backlinks on all the podcast platforms. Podcasts are on multiple platforms. Podcasts live forever unless a host actually takes the show down. They're there and they're living forever. And it's building your authority as a leader, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. And so all of these things come together. And finally, when you are a guest, you're actually talking in someone's ear, because listening to podcasts is almost universally a solo activity. People are driving their car, they're walking the dog, they're working out, they're cooking, whatever it happens to be. It's a solo activity. So you are speaking directly to them, and you're able to really establish who you are. And they'll say, wow, I'd really like to know this person a little better. And so they'll check out your website. They'll check you out in social media. And it's really a really great way to serve multiple uses at one time. And when you really plan it and optimize it, you can do a guest podcast in 3 hours total from the time you get the outreach to the host, or you're booking the show, to doing the show, to promoting the show. And you want to pre-promote it and then post-promote it. so you get the biggest bang and the maximum benefit from the show.
Awesome insight you got here, Lynn Whitbeck. Right, I quite appreciate that. Now, that's a very incredible business strategy you have for business owners, right? And besides, we are also in a age of information. And so I think that's very important idea, right? Thank you once again, Lynn Whitbeck. Do you have any project in the pipeline?
Do I have, pardon?
Any project in the pipeline you like to share?
Oh, yeah, I've actually got multiple. We're just launching another group program for our entrepreneur sales strategy system. So that's exciting. And I have a new networking event that I'll be co-hosting. That's going to be on my LinkedIn profile. That's going to be in about third week of March 22nd. And depending on when this publishes, and that's the year 2022, it may have been long past because podcasts live forever.
Sure. Wish you best of luck in the project, Lynn.
Well, thank you so much, Omobola. Thank
right.
you. I really appreciate that.
Sure. Can we have your social media handles on your website?
Yeah, absolutely. My website is petite, like a petite individual, and then the digit 2, queen, and queen size person, petite2queen.com. And I am the only Lynn Whitbeck on LinkedIn, and Petite to Queen is on all the different social channels.
Yeah, you got it. All right, we'll be on the lookout, Lynn Whitbeck. It's really an amazing and expository time on the show today. I really had a great time listening to your submissions and your insight on today's topic of discussion, right? I wish you the best always in your future endeavors and in your project.
Well, thank you so much, Omobola. It was just such a pleasure and privilege to be on your show today.
All right, pleasure having you once again. Now, if you'd like to catch up with any missed episodes of Life Well Lit with Omobola Stephen, you can catch up on any course promotion platforms to come across or any podcast promotion platforms to come across online, and do have an amazing time listening to the talk show. Perhaps you'd like to be a guest. You can connect with me on my mailbox, omobolastephen.o@outlook.com. Till I come your way, I need you to stay safe always with all my love. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. It's an engaging and enlightening talk show on life, relationships, and the business of life. Grab a cup of juice and just chill. Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. Live life. Live fully.